Hello everybody, today is the day we are going to do the mix down. Now, if you know anything about me, I have certain rules that I follow in a mix down that I do. First off, I make sure that everything is hooked up the way I want it to be so that I'm not messing with it and getting frustrated. I feel that you should be calm before you start this. So you should be in a good place. There shouldn't be any distractions. It should just be like, oh, I feel good right now. So that's where I'm at right now, is with this, is that I'm in a good spot. I've already done a test mix down to make sure that everything works the way I hoped it would. So that's already done. And the next thing is I am going to be using external effects on this one. I have my slap back set up. That's just like the per delay. It's got bum bum bum, and it's in time with the song. And I'm going to put it on some stuff. And I think I have it set for not arena. I think just like a studio reverb, so it's not like acoustic reverb is what it's set to on my effects system. So I'm going to be using those. I'm not using the internal effects anymore. So to hook that up correctly, let's go talk about that first, just so that it's out of the way. So in the back here, so these are the effects 1 and 2, the two blue cables coming out. This is 1, this is 2, going into my effect system. The next thing I do is it's coming back into G and H here. So G and H, as you can see, G and H, I already have it up halfway, which is where I want it to be. Now we look at the assign. I have you can't see because my face is in the way. So the assign for G and H is in the stereo bus, and the reason for that is because I'm not recording this onto a track. It's just going to be in the ether. So it's technically there, not there, but since I'm doing a mix down, it's not a big issue. So that's the way I have it set up here. So that's the next thing. If you go to mixer now, we're going to go to mixer. We're going to look at G, and if you look G, little guy here's moving. Get a little closer. G, I have it all the way to the left, so can't go any further. It's all the way to the left. And H, I have it panned all the way to the right. So and the reason I'm doing that is because my effects loop is stereo. Coming back, it's going to be stereo. This way in the stereo bus, it's going to be in stereo, so that it's not just coming down the line. So that's all set up. It's all working. I'm happy about that. Next thing I want to do is my first step is I set up the snare drum, the kick drum. So you got to find the kick drum on the system here. I'm going to try to get this so it shows more. It's not going to be a great picture for you guys, and I'm sorry, but I'm trying my best to do this the best I can. So my first rule is be calm, relax, be in a good spot before you start this, because if you're frustrated, it's not going to work. Second rule, give yourself 15 minutes to do the mix down. Now it doesn't seem like a lot here, so I'm going to hit mix down already on the thing. So we are now in mix down mode. I've already set the stop and starts, so that's already set. So if my next step is I want to set the kick. First, I gotta remember which one is the kick here. So I think the kick is 19 or 21, 22. Let's do a little play. No, that's snare. So 23, 24. And what I do, I put the snare at 0. So it's right in the middle. So I start off with kick, and then I bring up the bass. To a place where I like it. Now, as you can see, I haven't filled the EQ yet. You might be asking yourself, why these two? This is the foundation of this of any rock song, really, is your bass and your kick. So what I can do now is, if I go into mixer, I can liven the kick up a bit. And then we'll liven up bass a bit too. So what you want to do, what we're doing is we're covering the bottom end of the music. Now we'll bring in the snare. Okay, and that's the end of the song. So we start over. I wonder if I can do a repeat. Let's just try that, see if I can do a repeat. Okay. There we go. So now the song is just going to loop itself. So we'll go back in the mixer. Now what I like to do, you already see I got the pre on, I like to add a little bit of reverb to the snare. And then we change the sound of the snare. Now, I'm not following any pattern, like I'm not putting these at certain levels. I'm putting them where they blend in well with the other instruments. So I'm just bringing the toms up now, because they're not in the song very much. Now we'll bring up these are the overheads. So far, so good. So you hear the snares like ringing. Alright, now let's bring in one guitar, or one set of guitars. Now, I'm going to add some reverb on that too. Set up. Now I want the guitars to punch a bit, so I'm going to drop off the bass. I'm going to shape their sound now. Now you might be asking yourself, why do I keep taking the low out of the other instruments? And the reason is because the kick and the bass are covering the bottom. So let's go back into it. Playing a bass drum, a kick drum there for a sec. So we got all that going. So, shakers. Setting them up. I'm stopping it again, sorry for that. but I'm setting them up to be more on the top. Now here's where my levels are at the moment, as you can see. So if you start from 23, 24 being the kick, sorry, which is in the middle, you can see that the drums, the toms are pretty much there. The overheads aren't as high. The snare is a little lower, and the guitars are lower, and the bass is lower than center. And I just added the shakers, and with the shakers I transform them into, what do I call that? I would call that like it's more of a high. It's to get just the high, to fill in the high end a bit.
Night.
Okay, let's go again.
Good night, until we meet again. Adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Till then, and though it's always sweet sorrow to part, you know you'll always remain in my heart. And now till we meet again, adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Tight and pleasant dreams to you. Here's a wish.
Now, if you notice, we're on track 2, which is second vocals. I really haven't done anything with the effects. The effects I'm just doing on track 1.
Good night.
But
Good
if I
night.
hit solo for a
Until
sec,
we meet again. Adios. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Till then. And though it's
Second vocals.
always sweet sorrow to part, you know you'll always remain in my heart. And now till we meet again, adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.
let's see the guitar.
Good night, sleep tight, and pleasant dreams to you.
All right, I'd like to just, well, it's hard to listen to just the stops for a sec. Okay, turn off repeat. Let's go back a bit. I think that's where the... Okay, let's go back to mixer. Flatten it out. Bring this down. Bring this over here. Bring this up. Wait for it to start.
And pleasant dreams to you. Here's a wish and a prayer that every dream comes true. And now till we meet again, adios, au revoir, alvidoze. Good night.
Okay, so now as you can hear, if you heard a little bit there, it goes good night, I. So I should show that too. I did compensate on here. If you notice, there is a slight, there's a little bit extra just for that, just so that I don't lose that, because I want that. So that was kind of like a happy accident that I heard and went, oh, I would like to keep that. So yeah, so around, like I said, I'm looking at my time here on recording, and we're at 17 minutes. So like I said, about 15 minutes. So now what I would do is I would go and I would actually just record this down. That's going to be next week. I'm sorry, I'm breaking it up because it's a long video. So next week we'll do mix down and mastering. Now, truthfully, what I would do now is I would take my headphones off. I'd use I'll show you the big knob here. So I would use my big knob, and I would do final listening through my speakers. Now I have the luxury that these Foersters that I have here, I've had them forever, first of all, and secondly, I use them all day, so I'm playing music through them, so I'm so used to them. I'm accustomed to how they sound, so I know if I'm off when I'm doing my mix downs. It's kind of like a bonus to this. But that aside, so what I would do is I would use the dim, which brings it down to about 20% of the volume that I have it set at. Right now it's at 0 here, but that's because I don't want it to blend in with what you guys are hearing. I would listen to it in mono to see how it sounds, because you have to think to yourself that a lot of people are going to be listening to this on the little phone. So you want to hear how does it sound in mono, because maybe when it's in mono the guitars suddenly disappear. You don't want that or anything like that. So that's what I do. I'll listen to it in mono, I'll listen to it in stereo, and I'll give another run through. Sometimes what I'll do is, or what I also do is, I would do a mix down of this, listen to it again tomorrow, because you can sit down, you can just record the mix down, don't have to go any further. You can go back into the mix down or into the mastering at that point, and then listen to it and go, yeah, I don't like it, or yeah, I like it. Okay, it sounds good. So you give yourself that extra day. Your ears get cleared a bit. So that as well. So next week, mastering. For me, it's right now. I'm going to do it right now because this song really means nothing to me. It was just for fun. But honestly, if I was being more serious about it, I was actually going to release this as something, then I would do a lot more with it. But this is where it is today. So yeah. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Not every dream comes true, and now till we meet again, adios. night.